Well, hello there. Welcome. Let's talk today, right? Let's talk about why so many smart, capable, self aware people keep ending up in the same emotional place, right? Not because they're lazy or weak and have no tools or they haven't done enough work, but because when life gets loud, their minds start running a route that they didn't choose on purpose. And because it is fast, familiar, and practiced, right? It gets the authority before even realizing it is happening. And so, that's really just what I want to talk about today, because a whole lot of people think that their biggest issue is stress or difficult people or disappointing circumstances, or I hear this one a lot, too much on their plate, or that they just need to get better at handling life. And sometimes those things are real in the moment, but a lot of the time, what is actually happening for them is that their mind keeps running the same reaction loop, the same old interpretation, the same familiar meaning, and the same internal shortcut. And then they call the outcome reality. And that part matters, right? Because what your mind rehearses shapes your life. And so if your mind keeps rehearsing, right, urgency, self-doubt, worst case thinking, identity collapses, harsh interpretations, or old protection patterns, then it doesn't matter how insightful you are. And it certainly doesn't matter how insightful you are when you're calm. Life is still going to keep pulling you into the same old place when the pressure hits. So, June, inside my work, the Insight and Impact Focus Group, and some other new spaces, it's all built around mindset by design. And the public promise I've been using with it is simple. It's protect your baseline when life gets loud. Because if your baseline is weak, my friend, everything gets louder than it should. The old stories get louder, the body gets louder, your stress gets louder, other people get louder, that first interpretation gets louder. And then people start, living as if the loudest thing in the room is automatically the truest thing in the room. And that's not precision, that's conditioning. That's your old conditioned way of being, seeing, hearing, feeling, and experiencing the life around you. Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking thoughts are just thoughts, because a lot of times they're not. A lot of times they're rehearsals. Your mind is not just describing your life, it's practicing how to move through it. And whatever is getting practiced gets faster, right? Whatever gets repeated gets easier to believe. Whatever gets emotionally charged, right, gets easier to obey. And it's how people end up in that same emotional space over and over and over again, even when the situation on the outside changes, right? Different person, same reaction. Different pressure, same collapse, right? A different disappointment gets the same urgency. Different conversation, same need to explain, to prove yourself, to fix, to withdraw, or to just overthink it away. And because it keeps happening, right, people start acting like it must just be who they are. And it's not. A lot of the time, it's just what has been rehearsed year after year after year after year. And that's why I care so much about pattern interruption. Because if you don't know the root You keep trying to solve the wrong end of the problem, right? You keep focusing on, how do I react better? How do I calm down faster? How do I stop doing that? Right? How do I have more discipline? Right? Maybe, but honestly, what is the loop? What's the trigger? What meaning shows up fastest? What happens in your body? What emotion follows? What do you usually do next? And what does that behavior keep creating? That's the map. And if you only notice the reaction once it explodes, you've missed the whole, the lighting of the fuse, right? Like, now, people start, once people start seeing the loop, their loop, the next mistake that I see happen a lot is they act like the first thought is automatically the truest thought, right? And it's not. A lot of times it's just the fastest one. It's the one that shows up the quickest, right? Like that automatic process. And that matters because the fastest meaning runs a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there, right? Something happens and the mind immediately says, oh, something's wrong. Ooh, they're upset with me. I'm behind. This is going bad. I need to fix this. I'm failing. I knew this would happen. Right? Like the whole day's ruined. All of these things, right? And because it's that fast and it's that familiar, people don't question it. They just obey it. So that's where the reframe matters. Okay. Now, a reframe is not fake positivity. Okay. It is not better branding for your denial. Okay. It's not slapping some cute sentence on top of a nervous system that is clearly not buying into it. Okay. A real reframe will tell you your truth better. And that's the difference. Okay. A real reframe does not pretend something is lovely when it is clearly hard. It just stops letting that old distorted meaning keep running your whole show. So instead of, they didn't respond, something's wrong, maybe instead it becomes, you know what? I don't know enough yet to make this mean what I'm making it mean. Right? Instead of, my body feels off, this whole day is going to be shot, right? Like it's going to suck. Instead, right? Like maybe that can become, you know what? My body feels off. So I need to lead myself a little bit differently today, not abandon my whole day. Another one that I really like, right, is I feel stressed, so everything's a mess, right? Instead, maybe that becomes, stress is here, which means my interpretation may be louder than the situation actually deserves, right? Things that we can reframe inside of ourselves. And it's not fake. It's mature. It's usable. It's precise. And that precision matters because the mind can take one uncomfortable moment and turn it into a full emotional event if nobody interrupts it. We all know that one, right? So let's go a step deeper because this is where people usually lose the work. Stress. Stress isn't evil, but stress changes our access, right? And if you don't understand that, you're going to keep turning all your hard days into identity crisis. Okay, stress does not just make people emotional. Stress makes people run on automatic. Okay, the system speeds up, the interpretations get faster, the body gets louder, tolerance gets thinner, your perspective shrinks, old pathways get easier to access, right? This one's easier, and relief starts looking super seductive. And suddenly, right? The version of you that had all the insight on Tuesday is gone by Wednesday afternoon because life got loud and the old root got there first. That doesn't mean nothing changed. It means stress narrowed access. And that's a big difference. Because if you know that, you stop doing this thing people do where they say, I should be better than this. Why am I still like this? I hear this one a lot. I guess I'm back at square one. I thought I already dealt with this. I hear that one a lot also. And no, it's, you know what? Hey, guess what? You're human. You got stressed. Your system got less spacious. Your old pathway got louder. And that's exactly why I keep saying, protect your baseline. Because when your baseline is stronger, your access is stronger. Your mind gets less easy to hijack. Your reactions become less automatic. Your old interpretations get less convincing. And your system has more room, right? More room to breathe. And that room changes everything. So what does all of this actually mean, right? It means you stop living like every stressful moment gets to become some full system takeover. It means you stop acting like mental precision is only mental, because it's not. It's also about the body. It's about rhythm. It's about hydration. It's about fuel. It's about recovery time. It's about all the overstimulation. Right? It's also about whether your brain has what it actually needs to think cleanly when your life gets messy. So that's why this month, June, psychonutrition thread also matters. Okay, we got omega-3s, hydration, and cognitive clarity. Right? Not because the fish oils are going to turn you into a saint or water is going to fix your childhood. And not because nutrition is going to replace the deeper work, but because a cleaner mind is easier to lead. And a brain that is inflamed, underhydrated, overstimulated, undersupported, and constantly chasing relief is going to have a harder time interrupting old loops before they take over. And that's just reality. So protecting your baseline means, hey, guess what? I pay attention to what keeps my mind more precise. I stop underestimating what depletes me. I notice what makes the old loop louder. I stop living like my brain should perform beautifully under loud, lousy, yucky conditions. And I build support around the kind of response system I actually want to have. And that matters. That's where the whole month comes together. Right? Because mindset by design is not think positive, try harder, just be less emotional, sounding smarter, having one good breakthrough, or saying one better sentence once. It's building a mindset that you can return to. That means I know what my fastest loops are. I know what my mind distorts. I know how I'm getting pulled, right, into this external something, right? I know what interrupts my old root. I know what reframes actually work for me. I know what supports my clarity, and I know what helps me come back when I get caught up. And that's a real structure. It's not a mood. It's not some vibe or a personality trait. It's a structure. And a structure is what holds, right? It's going to hold up. It's going to stick around. It's going to serve you when feelings don't. And that's the whole point. Because if the new way only works in your ideal conditions, it's not ready yet. It has to work on a regular Tuesday, but it also has to work in a tired body when you receive a weird text, in that big disappointing moment, right? In the normal everyday stress, right? In ordinary life. That's when the map matters. And that's when the baseline matters. That's when the deeper work matters. So if I were to leave you with anything, it would be this. You, my friend, are not stuck with every pattern your mind has been practicing for years. You're not required to keep obeying every fast interpretation. You're not obligated to keep rehearsing those mental roots and loops that distort you and then acting surprised by the outcome. You, my friend, do not need to become more positive. You need to become more precise. That's the difference. And if this resonates with you, this is a, an open to the public teaching layer. Inside the Insight and Impact Focus Group, we do go deeper and actually work the map, the pattern, the reframe, and the stress response, and the baseline production, right? We do that in real time for you, as it will serve you in your life going forward, because that deeper work is where we stop admiring the insight and start building something that you can actually live from. That's what we do there, because mindset is not just what you think. It's what your system keeps rehearsing, and what you redesign changes everything. See you soon.